Hello, everyone. We are here today for a very interesting topic we have, and the topic is data-driven culture due diligence, the new age in M&A. And we have very special guest today, and Professor Dame is well known, and also she is CEO of Management Ship Solution. She's being the author of the Management Ship, which is a book and which is selected by Forbes as one of the top 8 business book in 2014. She is also winner of the Axiom Business Book Award. I I thought, since this is very important topic in due diligence, and most of the organization, they need this expertise to make sure that any due diligence or cultural diligence process, whatever you have some data to take the decisions. So without further delay, I will let Professor introduce you, and then we can get started and have some interesting questions to ask. So you can go ahead, Professor, today, give some background and maybe talk about how you have built your company, what you are trying to solve.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me to this podcast. I'm delighted to be here. I started my career about 30 years ago as a computer scientist. So I have a PhD in computer science. But at the same time, I had the passion for helping people, developing leaders, passion for personal development. And I studied many other disciplines as when I was a computer scientist. And about 20 years ago, I decided to become a behavioral scientist and a business school professor. And I then studied various other disciplines from economics, OB, neuroscience, psychology, leadership, and so on. And based on all this knowledge, interdisciplinary research I have been doing over years, published 4 books, over 400 articles, I connected the dots from all these disciplines and created the management shift system for transformation of individual leaders, leadership teams, and entire organizations. And this has been used by various companies globally over the last 15 years or so in public private sector, various parts of the world. So, in a nutshell, that is the background. And I also want to mention that I'm hugely driven by purpose. My purpose is to bring this work to as many organizations and leaders as possible and help create healthier, happier, high performing, highly engaging, highly successful workplaces that do good and do well at the same time. And I'm specifically now focusing on M&A market with my work.
Sure, thank you. So I think very interesting, Professor, because you come from tech background, PhD, and then you realize that you have to do something that organization, and you develop people, and and this is the reason you have built this company. So how did you get first involved with transformation initiative or leadership development? What was your first trigger point?
So that was about 20 years ago, where I moved from being a computer science professor to business school professor. Then I started working as a consultant as well with various organizations, working one-to-one coaching CEOs, C-level executives, and then building all these tools and processes, which I described in my book, The Management Shift, that you mentioned. And that's when I started building my business as well. I went part-time as a professor, launched my company 10 years ago, and that's how I started working with leaders, organizations globally, because my methods for transformation, my tools, they are location, size, and industry agnostic. So I work with governments, large organizations, small organizations in all sorts of different industries as well.
Mhm. Yeah. So one question I think I wanted to know, like, what are the trigger point, right? How it started? I know that you already mentioned, but what was your trigger point in mind, which it help you to realize that okay, there is you know a way where you can add more value and build something like this.
the trigger point was I was on maternity leave after I had my daughter 21 years ago,
Yeah.
and I had more time to think and reflect. What is really my
Okay.
purpose? Why am I here in the world? What really energizes me? What excites me? And I realized computer science was a stepping stone in helped me to think with the right left side of my brain. I can think in a very structured way, but I'm also very creative, and I'm also very passionate about helping people, transforming cultures, working with leaders, seeing the transformation. And I realized this is my purpose. I came here to help leaders and organizations to create healthier, high performing workplaces. And then I decided to leave computer science career and focus on being behavioral science. And then I further develop other tools and processes, and now they have been used for over 12 or so years with various leaders and
Mhm.
organizations. So it's really finding the purpose, finding my calling, and everything
Okay.
I learned just helped me to get where I am today.
Sure. So now coming to the, your company and this term itself, management shift. So when I read your book, right, what is the management shift and organization health scan? So how you define that? So if some
So
like by my audience who might not know, so maybe if you can some background about, what is this management shift and organization health scan?
certainly. So the management shift
Yeah.
is a set of tools and processes and models and assessment tools and the know-how. Is the whole
Mhm.
set of intellectual property I developed over many years through my interdisciplinary research, which have been used to transform individual leaders and leadership teams and entire organizational cultures. So at the heart of the management shift is a five-level model, which I developed based on many years of interdisciplinary research. I looked into theories and models related to leadership development, organizational culture development, adult consciousness development, learning development,
Mhm.
etc. So I figure out that there are five levels that our individual mindset goes through, and there is a corresponding organizational culture. Every level is characterized by
Mhm.
specific thinking patterns, language used, emotions, and so on. So, just to take you very, very briefly through levels, and then I'll explain the organizational health scan, how it got
Sure,
developed
sure. Yeah.
after that. So, level one, lifeless mindset and pathetic culture. Not much gets done. It's a very toxic, unhealthy place. People get unwell and they just want to escape from such a workplace. Level two, reluctant mindset, stagnating culture. People do a bare minimum just to be paid.
Mhm.
So they would
Yeah.
just show up at work, but they would dream about being somewhere else. Level three, controlled mindset, orderly culture. It's all about command, control, micromanagement. It stifles innovation, engagement, performance. So
Mhm.
the
Okay.
management shift is about helping leaders, leadership teams, and organizational cultures to get from level three to level four, where everything changes and improves exponentially. Level four, enthusiastic mindset, collaborative culture. Keywords are
Mhm.
trust, transparency, purpose, collaboration, and so on. So everything improves from innovation, engagement, profit, talent retention, and so on. Occasionally, we reach level
Mhm.
five with limitless minds and abounded culture. This is where highly innovative teams work day and night on some big innovations for humanity. So the five level model is the essence of the management shift. And then I thought I had to figure out how to help not just individual leaders and teams to get to level four where everything improves, but I had to figure out how to help entire organization and how to
Mhm.
help many organizations at the same time to go through this big shift, through this management shift, to get
Yeah.
from level three culture to level four culture, where everything improves substantially, exponentially. We see three figures profit increase within a year, talent retention improves, performance improves, and so on. So then I
Mhm.
developed another model based on additional research. There are a lot of peer review articles behind this model and thousands of references, hundreds of interviews, dozens of case studies. I then
Mhm.
distilled all this knowledge into a framework with around 150 factors that drive innovation, value creation, performance, profit in companies. I group them in 6 areas, and those areas include culture, then
Mhm.
relationships. We can see how well people work together, individuals, their mindset, drive, motivation, strategy, how it gets developed and executed, systems, how the work gets done, and resources.
Mhm.
So then I created software, and the latest version just being released now is organizational health scan, where we can scan hundreds or thousands of employees within 20 minutes or so, completely anonymously, so we can get a true picture of what is really going on in organization. We can pinpoint the hidden strengths and blockages in those 6 areas, and then we can
Mhm.
prescribe an action plan, a year a roadmap, where exactly specific actions can be
Mhm.
pinpointed that organization need to take to eliminate
Mhm.
blockages, to remove anything that's stopping performance, value creation, and so on, but also to
Got it.
leverage strengths. And M&A
Mhm.
is one particular area where this is most powerful,
Yeah.
from our experience.
Yeah. So as you know, we are working with customers around the world, and even in my past career, when I was part of a global M&A team, working on very complex M&A deal integration. I realize, and as you might know, culture is one of the most critical thing for M&A. Where so many books, so many articles published by different thought leaders around the world, and this is one of the most critical and very touchy point about not only during due diligence phase but entire deal integration phase as well. And this has bigger impact on the outcome of the deal, right? So culture has direct impact on the outcome of any deal. So either you are closing the deal or you are sourcing the right opportunity, right? And then how to quickly integrate. That all depends on, culture is, there are many things, but culture is one of the most critical part. And
Absolutely.
I wanted to know, yeah, I wanted to know how you think, or maybe we can share some of the use cases where you are working with some customers, especially if they are doing pre-DD or during due diligence phase or integration, wherever you had, if you can give some idea, if you have done, or you think that that will be a value add to go and do proper diagnostic of, through your solution, which can be a major input for M&A deal makers to go and apply them for their deal decision process. So if you can give something like how M&A team could get benefit out of it, because culture is one of the most critical, and I know many companies are using different way, but what do you think, about your expertise and your research, how it's going to add value?
Absolutely. I've been doing some research to find out how critical cultural due diligence is in M&A deals, because due diligence mainly focuses on legal, IT aspects, financial aspects, operational aspects,
Mhm.
but culture and people and leadership style gets neglected in many deals, and this seems to be one of the key reasons why so many M&A deals fail. The
Yeah,
research I've done shows 70 to 90% of
90%.
failures. It's because culture has been neglected. 30 to 50% of employees would leave post
Yeah.
merger because of cultural and leadership related issues. There is a drop in engagement, reduction in engagement of 30 to 77%
Yeah.
after merger. So there's so much data out there showing that when M&A deals neglect culture
Mhm.
and people, things go wrong, and there's so many risks. So with organizational health scan, we can certainly add a great value with that, because we can scan company A and company B before merger and see what problems they would have. And then we can manage that even before merger to ease the culture integration, to align leadership style, to engage people, and so on. And we can use this, for example, before even merger happens. So growth to exit would be one area where we can help
Mhm.
companies grow, and I can share some examples where we've done that. So we can help a company to improve, to increase culture, value, and health. That will then
Mhm.
increase the deal of the value as well for that organization when we do this before valuation.
Mhm.
Then during M&A process, we can do cultural due diligence, where we can
Yeah.
see how we can further improve performance, the health of culture, health of organization, engagement, and so on. And then post-merger, we use organizational health scan to see, okay, we have those two different companies merging, different culture, different leadership style, different levels of engagement.
Mhm.
So we can anticipate that even before merger happens, to manage and
Yeah.
to align much better to
Mhm.
cultures, to leadership style. To give you some examples, a growth to exit project with a US-based management consultancy. They wanted to grow before exit, so we worked with them with their scan, created action plan, which they have implemented.
Mhm.
18 months later, they doubled in size. So they grew from, it was a small company, from 9 to 18 consultants, and most
Okay.
importantly, a profit increased by 500%. Um, Another example, FTSE 100 company, they want to improve performance, grow as well. Within
Mhm.
3 years, revenue increased 52.2%, profit increased 53%, and so on. So we're
Mhm.
getting so many data points from various clients in different stages of this cycle, M&A cycle, where everything improves, and it's like a ripple effect. People get more engaged.
Yeah.
You keep the talent, so you don't need to lose cost of recruiting new talent. We know from research that there is a direct correlation between engagement scores and profit as well. So
Mhm.
1% increase in engagement should lead to 0.5% increase in profit, and so on. So
Right.
everything improves, but most importantly, integration is more successful, and talent retention, engagement improves, and that leads to a financial impact as well.
Yeah. Of course. So I think you gave a couple of examples where you are you have helped company, and in I think one of the idea I was thinking how company can get benefit is mostly the like you are running several diagnostics for management systems, how people are motivated or not. So this output, when you are running this survey, this output you are giving to management team to go and apply them, right? And then again, we go and remeasure them, whether it's implemented fully or it's effective, how you measure the effectiveness of.
Is we have two main types of reports.
Mm,
So there is
okay,
executive report, which is more condensed, summarizing
okay. Hmm.
average minimum maximum scores in 6 areas. And then for each of
Hmm.
these 6 areas, there's a page in report showing 5 key strengths and 5 key blockages in each of the six
Hmm.
areas. So we
Okay.
take this data and then we work with the client to create 1 year action plan. What sometimes small changes will lead to a big impact. So we agreed
Hmm.
it's an iterative process. I developed using design thinking, where we pinpoint specific actions that will lead to biggest and fastest impact for those
Hmm.
organizations, depending what the scan shows.
Yeah.
So that is the a typical project. We can help with implementation if needed, and then within 9 to 12 months, we can rescan if needed and see how figures have changed, how everything has improved. In many projects, the clients didn't ask to be rescanned because they could
Hmm.
notice improvement so quickly
Yeah.
after several weeks. So they said there's
Hmm.
no point checking. We can see how things are improving. And then they shared the new employee engagement scores, data on improved revenues, data on talent retention, etc., etc. So we can see
Hmm.
quite quickly that things are moving in positive direction. Another type of report that we also offer is a care plan report, where we use AI engine as well to recommend some specific actions that client can take.
Hmm.
some specific strategies based on scores, so we can look into those as well. But when I train and accredited in my methodology, work with clients, it will be very much bespoke. It will be iterative process, and then senior leadership team will provide input. We can ask a wider range of employees to provide input in action planning, and I would, or one of my consultants would guide the whole process strategically until we create this plan for change.
Good, good. So tell me something about, I think I was reading that you are coming up a new plan for M&A especially.
Yes.
If you can give some,
Yes, we are going to launch quite soon in the next few weeks at the Culture Intelligence Institute. So the Culture Intelligence Institute will be like a hub for M&A market, where we will focus on providing these services with organizational health scan and then strategic consultancy as well. Myself or somebody in my team focus specifically on M&A market, work with private equity, VCs, or individual business founders to help them either to grow, to exit, to help them during M&A with cultural people due diligence, or to help them post-merger with integration.
Okay, so I understood now. So now your focus is, not just a generic leadership team. Your focus is more on M&A, right? And that's how we wanted to build this system and come with a specific mindset that you are going to work with company who are in midst of their due diligence process, or they are doing integration. Good. I think very important. I read your book, so it's very interesting. And I will come back. Thanks for your time. And now we know managementship, what you do and how we can get benefit during M&A process. I think thank you, listeners, for listening. I think you've got some idea about how she's trying to help us, help M&A team to do better due diligence, to focus on more cultural integration. That it's going to help you to do better deal outcome, right? So we'll come back to you for another round of discussion, and people will connect to you. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thanks.